Episode 31 of the No Narratives podcast. Welcome back, guys. I got my guy Quinn with me. How you doing, bro?
Man, good, bro. About to go Christmas shopping. About to break a bag for
Pick
the
me
family.
up something.
So, yeah.
I need something. I need a few things. And my daughter, she got a long list too. So I'm gonna just ship you something and then send that to you. My nephew too. So you got me. You said you work a lot. You make money. You know what I'm saying?
Best I got
So
for you is the League Pass subscription.
hey, I can't even watch the Rockets because I'm in Houston and they
Yeah.
not gonna let you watch the Rockets. It's stupid. Like it's very, very frustrating. I don't know why they do that to us like that, man. But I guess this episode, for episode 31, man, we'll be getting into NBA teams / players that have regressed this season. We have a few teams that we wanted to talk about. I don't know if we could do any particular order. You go up first since you brought this to the table. You came to the table today talking about what episode you want to do and how you want to talk about it. I want you to break us into it, and then, of course, I'll just follow your lead as we go.
Yeah, for sure. Now, right now, we almost a quarter of the way through the season. Certain teams have regressed to be below our expectations. And the good thing about this is season's long. They could turn it around later on, and we could say, okay, all right, they figured some things out. But for right now, the regression looks real for a lot of teams. And the first team that I think we should start off on is the Wolves.
Okay.
Wolves fell. If y'all remember way back, I had predicted they were going to do well. I was high on Rob Dillingham. I was high on him having extra shot creators for Ant, and it's just not there. Yeah. I don't know. It's not even like an on-court talent thing. It's just like a chemistry, a connectiveness, the ability to execute. Like that shit is gone. Like it's completely different. And it's just like, the Wolves are difficult because it's like we could go through stats. We could if you want to go through stats of the Wolves, but just when you watch them play, they don't look connected. They look like they're doing different things, and this is and there are certain times like okay, Anthony Edwards, I like him very much, but there's certain times in the game where he takes I have to be like Kobe and MJ and just shoot when that is not necessarily like that's what the defense is doing. They're baiting you into one-on-one stuff because they know if you're gonna probably go 3 or 4 straight possessions of trying to get yourself in the rhythm, just putting up shots and not getting anybody else involved, and we're gonna come right back up down the floor and we're gonna do what we do. And now all of a sudden you're down by 8 or you're down by 12. So that is something that I think is going to have to be like we're going to see. Like that's the maturity part of Ant's game, but he's not the only person. I don't want to single him out. I mean, you still got the whole what's going on Rudy thing. You got Naz Reid sometimes, Julius Randle sometimes. It's just a lot. But what you got as far as the Wolves? I know that was your team last season, and this season,
yes. The moment that they traded Karl Anthony Towns, I really didn't know what they was on. I really didn't know what the objective was. I listened to a lot of podcasts of people that's in the know, and it just came down to them not wanting to pay Karl Anthony Towns' contract once it kicked in. Because he got the second contract off of which was the rookie max extension, and then he got the super max, I believe. I'm looking at Cat's contract, and before it kicks in, it's $49 million this year, $53 million next year, $57 million the year after that, and then he has a player option for $61 million in the 27-28 season. And if he doesn't, pick that up, which I don't see him not picking that up, he will be unrestricted. And I think that's what the Wolves are trying to avoid, was just paying Karl Anthony Towns. But I think that it was a silly move not to want to pay him, specifically when you gave him the contract. What he provided for the offense and what he's doing with the New York Knicks right now is kind of hard to ignore when you look at how good that offense is there, and when you look at everything that's transpiring in New York. The defense leaves a lot to be desired, but Karl Anthony Towns isn't a natural power forward. He's a natural center. he's a power forward. So when they get Mitchell Robinson back, I think they're going to be even better. But I mean, Karl-Anthony Towns is averaging 25 points, 13 rebounds, 3 assists. He's playing really well. 53% from the field, 45% from three, which is a career high. 86% from the line. He's hooping this year, and when you look at the Minnesota Timberwolves, last season they ranked 17th in offense with 114.6 offensive rating. They were first in defense with 108.4 offensive rating, and they were third in net rating with a 6.3 net rating. This year, ironically, 17th in offense, 111.8 points per point offensive rating, which is 3.2 shy of where they were last year, 3.2 less points per possession, per 100 possession. And then you got their 8th in defense. But this is what's crazy about them being 8th in defense. Last year, they were first in defense with 108.4 defensive rating. This year, they're 8th in defense with 108.2 offensive rating. So statistically, they're better this year than they were last year in their 8th in defense. That's crazy. And then they're 11th in the NBA. They're tied 11th with the Sacramento Kings in net rating at 3.6 this year. So, and just outside of the numbers, it looked like they're not on the same page. Like, what about you? Is that the kind of vibes you
That's
get?
what I'm saying. Like that's what I said earlier. You can look at the stats and you can say that they more or less look okay, right? Look good on paper, but when they actually play, the minutia of the game just gets lost,
Yeah.
and they get they all start, they're kind of directionless a little bit,
Yeah.
or someone like I said, Ant goes off on these stretches where he tries to do hero ball, and the thing about it that is that work when that works, it's great, but when it doesn't, you got to be able to pivot off something else, because like if you're not making those, you're just throwing away 5-6 possessions. And
Yeah.
in the West, sometimes you can't have that, because that's the difference between getting blown out or a really close loss. So um, I think they have to do, like, I think their biggest issue right now is chemistry. Like, it's not necessarily the talent. It's there. The idea behind it is there, but the connectiveness of that team is there.
Yeah,
Like,
it's not a good fit. I said that when it happened. Julius Randle shooting 37% from three, which is decent. It's not 45% from three. So the spacing isn't there. Karl-Anthony Towns didn't need the ball as much. So now it's even more clunky. And Julius he works out with Carmelo Anthony in the offseason, or there have been off seasons where he has. So we see how Julius sees his shot diet and his shot profile. He wants to get into his bag. He wants to dribble. He needs that space. But guess who's in the paint? Rudy Gobert. And Julius Randle, one of my biggest gripes for him when he was in New York before Jalen Brunson even got there was this dude don't pass. You know what I'm saying? He's not the most willing passer, and he's not the greatest passer. So it's just really funky for the Minnesota Timberwolves altogether, and they messed up. I don't. I like Nas Reed, but it just if Jaden McDaniels seems to have regressed, Dante DiVincenzo, who has played better as of late, but he started off the season real funky. Mike Conley looks to be washed. I don't know what they can do really to improve. The only thing that helped them was the cap relief of not having to pay Karl-Anthony Towns an extra $20 million a
see,
year.
I thought shot creators would help, but you still, and that, but again, that relied so much on Conley. I mean, really, he's the only true
I mean, they
player.
got Dillingham then. Play Dillingham.
Yeah, but Dillingham is like, he's still a scorer too. Like he's still
Yeah, that's true.
he's good, but he's like, he's a scorer. He's not a guy
Yeah.
that's like gonna throw you open or make the reads. But I mean, he's a solid player. I like him, but just there's details that are lost on that team, and
Yeah.
they got to figure it out, because that team. I
Yeah.
mean, I know the West is tough this year, so a lot of teams I'm gonna give some grace to, because the West is so hard. Um, Timberwolves should be up there in the higher ends of the pack competing. Um,
You could just tell Mike Conley is washed, man. 36% from the field, 37% from three on 5.4 attempts from three. But he's 7.7 field goal attempts per game. He's only getting up 2.3 2-point attempts per game, and he's at a 35% clip on twos. That's terrible.
and you know what? Quiet is kept. Conley's old. Let's
Yeah,
not
he's
talk
old.
about Conley is old. He's 37.
37.
Yeah,
37.
like that is
Yeah.
old in NBA years. Like that.
And
Yeah.
he's small.
So,
And he's a
yeah.
small guard. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So it's really tough. I think that they messed up. I think that it was bad to trade Karl Anthony Towns. And I think that what they did in the draft last year with Rob Dillingham, I hope I'm saying his name right. With him, what they did with him, I think that they should have kept Cat, because I don't see an avenue where you're gonna get another number one overall pick type talent that can shoot like that. You go to the conference finals, and the first thing you do after going to the conference finals is trade away your second best offensive threat, who fits well with your number one offensive threat, and they seemed on the outside looking in to get along really, really well. What like, and you trade him for Julius Randle, with on the surface, which looks like to save pennies. I don't
So
know.
also, like you just said, like just like another team we're about to talk about, the Wolves are a CBA victim.
Mm-hmm.
You said they didn't want to. I mean, look, that if they paid Carly Towns that money and they weren't any good, that they couldn't
They
have
were
won.
going to be good. I mean,
Like,
you're not maybe not win a championship.
if they weren't, that's what I meant.
Yeah, maybe you're not going to win a championship, but
Yeah.
you got Nas Reed under contract. You got Karl Anthony Towns under contract. You got Rudy Gobert, who took less money for and signed an extension under contract. You
Hmm.
drafted Rob Dillingham. You still got Nikhil Alexander Walker. Like, maybe Dante DiVincenzo, it would have been good to add him with Cat,
Yeah.
but I don't know. Why be scared when you're a second apron team and you are everybody's 37 plus? Yeah, okay, I can understand. But when you a second apron team and Cat is not 30, Anthony Edwards is not 25, I don't see why you are such in a rush
I
to
think the
not
oldest
pay
players
him.
are Gobert and Conley, if I'm
Yeah,
not mistaken. Yeah, everybody
yeah,
else is young.
yeah.
So
So it's
yeah,
it's just it's crazy, man. It's crazy to me, And Rudy Gobert is 32. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy to me. I don't know why they had a
old,
perfect formula to beat Denver, and they just blew it up.
yeah, Gobert's an
So
old 32.
yeah,
Speaking of which, let's transition to the next team,
okay,
Denver.
okay.
Denver. Y'all know I've been up in here. I've been waving the flag for Jamal Murray, and I can't. The man has made me eat crow. He has made me lose money. He has made me have
Wow.
to admit that my co-host is right, which what I'm saying I did not have to do. It was painful. After seeing him do my goat, and it's just like just the whole. But it's not just him. He's not the only person. The whole team just kind of like just ain't there. They don't got that juice no more, and it's just making Jokic is just getting better. Like he just keeps improving and getting better and just being more impactful. But everybody else is just not coming along for the ride. The only other player, this might surprise you, that I'm really happy about in their tenure for the Nuggets is Russell Westbrook, because I predicted at the season, I said, hey, I think he'll probably be top two, top three for six man of the year. And the reason why I say that, as much as I criticize Russ, when Russell was on the Lakers, he made Wenyen Gabriel the Wenyen Gabriel Russell Westbrook offense was literally viable and helped him get through games. Imagine what he did with Nikola Jokic, and you're seeing that, and it's just like,
Mhm.
look, like Russ is like prepared to play. He's got the motor, and he's down with Jokic, down with the team, uh, connected. But like Jamal is just like an outsider looking in, but he's not the only one. Is what's his name? Porter. Is Porter worth the contract? Don't know. Is Braun ready to step up and be KCP? Certainly, he has the chops defensively, but I don't. I feel like every time I watch him, I don't see him. I only see him shoot well like once every 5 games. I don't know. I gotta look.
Mhm.
Maybe I can be wrong, but
Mhm.
like if we look at Jamal Murray, right?
Mhm.
So going by this season, um, last season he shot 42% from three. This season he's shooting 33.
Mhm.
His field goal percentage is a little better this year, but everything else is just down across the board. You
I think
know,
he's at a career low from three. He's shooting his lowest field goal percentage since his rookie season.
yeah,
Um, Yeah, it's all bad for Jamal Murray right now. It's really all bad for him. Yeah, it's his lowest since his rookie season, 42%. His lowest of his career, I mean, by 0.1%. But when you're taking 6 a game, which is more than what you were taking your rookie season, that's bad. You know, his 2-point field goal percentage, again, is the second worst of his career since his rookie season. As well as his effective field goal percentage, as well as his free throw shooting, which is a career low for his career. So I
Yeah,
think it's just all bad. The regression is really bad, you know. And they played the Wizards the other night when they lost, and Jokic had 56 points. I'm gonna
yeah,
read to you some stats. Nikola Jokic versus the Wizards. So this was Nikola Jokic's stats versus the rest of the Nuggets roster for that entire game. Nikola Jokic 56 points. The rest of Denver 57 points. Nikola Jokic, 22 field goals made. The rest of Denver, 24 field goals made. Nikola Jokic, 3 3-pointers made. The rest of the Denver Nuggets, 2 3-pointers made. Nikola Jokic, 9 free throws made. The rest of the Denver Nuggets, 7 free throws made. That's crazy. That is Calvin Booth is in my opinion he's a good GM, but I think that he got a little bit too much dip on his chip. I think that he invested too much in Peyton Watson and Christian Brown. I know what he was trying to do. He was trying to like be that first team to compete, lose talent by not paying them, and then trust his farm system to fill in the roles of the guys that you lost. But so far, it hasn't panned out.
yeah. Like I'm looking at like MPJ, he's so up and down,
But
and
he's having a career season, ironically. He's
he
19 points per game, which ties a career high.
nah, bro,
51% from the field,
he is
39% from
like
three.
he's being like the IQ, like sometimes he's just
Oh yes, that hasn't improved. Yeah, the
that's what I'm
shot
talking about.
selection is crazy. Yeah,
Yeah, like some of that shot, I was like, bro, what is going on? And then
in transition, 1 on 4, he pulling up from three. In
yeah,
transition, like he's been doing that since 2021.
but yeah, it's like now it's so glaring because before it was like he could do that and get away with it because they had never had so many ways to beat you, and
Yeah.
now it's just like Jokic or bust, and those things stand out,
Mm-hmm.
and it's surprising. But I mean, if anybody could turn it around, I have more faith in them to turn around than I do with the Wolves. Nikola Jokic is that great right now,
I mean,
and he might.
man, listen, dog.
So
Listen, bro. The on-off numbers are alarming. Again, I got this from the low post the YouTube channel. Jokic on the court. The Nuggets have 123.9 offensive rating, which would be the highest in NBA history. Their defensive rating is 113.4 with a net rating of 10.5, and that's 714 minutes of Jokic on the
mhm.
court. Jokic off the court, they have an offensive rating of 94.9. Jeff, that's like a 40-point difference. That's like a 40-point swing. That's almost a 40-point swing. And then you got the defensive rating 112.1, which is slightly better, but it doesn't even matter when the offense falls off a cliff like that. And a negative 17.2 net rating in only 352 minutes without Jokic. I mean, just to give you just to give the listener some type of context of how bad that offensive rating is. The 99 2000 Chicago Bulls had a net rating, had an offensive rating of 94.2. And the 2002 2003 Nuggets, who were tanking for Carmelo Anthony, had a 92.2 offensive rating. That's abysmal, bro. That's abysmal. And can we get into Jamal Murray's contract? 4
Oh
years, 208 million.
man,
He's averaging Fred VanVleet numbers. He is and making 11 to 12 million more a year.
he doesn't. Okay, so it takes him through age 32. God, he is getting almost a quarter of the freaking cap. Or no, sorry, not a
Oh,
quarter. 30%, like over 25% of the cap. I think if I'm reading this right, but it's just like
like 30
if you're
million.
getting this from him, okay. At what point do you feel like you have to send him out? for another player for Jokic. I think you give him maybe Jokic is 30,
Mm-hmm.
so maybe one more season.
For Jamal Murray,
Yes.
I don't see how you do that. I don't see how a guy making $52 million a year who's underperforming in almost every single category. If we just
Oh,
looking at
actually, no,
traditional
no, 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 wait,
stats.
wait, wait. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay,
You
no
have to give
problem.
him
Go.
now because his contract goes to 50, and then he gets into Zach LaVine territory, which is almost damn near untradeable.
55, 58, and
Yeah,
61.
that contract gets nasty if he underperforms.
Yeah, and it's probably a player option at the end of it. Maybe I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it just goes out. But even then, like, how do you trade that contract when this guy is playing the way that he's playing? How
Yeah,
you can't get out of that trade? You would have to do a
you
one
almost
for one
have to give
swap.
picks. You have to give
You know
picks.
what they could do?
What?
They could, and they. I don't even think you can do picks because they're in the second apron. You can't even add picks.
With all the
Yeah,
extensions,
they would have to trade him straight up for Zach LaVine.
Five got nice extensions.
You
Well,
said who?
championship start five. The chip. Well, I'll say start five. The core four
Oh
got
yeah,
nice
yeah, 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 yeah.
because KCP's gone. So so Aaron Gordon
It's
has a
bad, man.
pretty nice contract. Let's see what he actually has. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's,
like
it's
I
bad.
think he's going to be in Zach LaVine territory, and the Nuggets are going to
No, I'm
have.
saying you should trade him for Zach LaVine. If you said who you could trade him for, I would say trade him for Zach LaVine. But there's no way the Bulls to do that trade. There's no way. He's not living up to the contract right now. He's
Yeah,
not
so
living up to the contract. So
I
I
mean,
don't I
Zach
don't know what
LaVine
you
really
do.
isn't either. But I mean, the thing is, Zach's more injury prone than anything.
Zach got more lively. He's more livelier in his legs than Jamal Murray. With all the injuries, Zach's legs have more pop to them than Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray sometimes look like he's moving slow unless he's playing the Lakers. You know what I'm saying? Then
Yeah,
he's Michael Jordan. But
yeah,
when he's not playing the Lakers, which is 78 games out of the year, he
yeah.
looks slow.
hmm
So I don't know what you do at this point, bro. I don't know.
Uh, there was also. I felt like we wanted to get into Philly too.
Okay,
But, uh,
let's get
but
into
but
it.
but okay, do we give Philly some grace because largely it was largely injuries, like that was the biggest thing. But
No, I don't. I don't.
I
Joel
don't.
Embiid has played 5 games this season, Jeff. He's played 5 games. The only reason why Philly isn't out of it is because of how trash the East is. Joel Embiid has played 5 games and he's having chronic swelling. They're trying to figure out how to keep his swelling down, even in games that he doesn't play. Even on days where he doesn't play, he's having chronic swelling in his knee. He's going to have to play with a brace probably for the entirety of his career. And then they signed him to an extension. Then they signed Paul George, who's now playing on a brace, who hyperextended his
Oh,
knee
you
twice.
see the knee brace that Paul George got?
Yes, yes.
Oh,
That
that's
mug
the
is
wrong
this
brace.
big. And then
No,
he's
that's
playing
the,
on a
that's the brace of doom.
fam.
It's
I'm
only
telling
been
you,
out.
bro. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, bro. You remember when they signed Paul George and I told you like I really wasn't moved?
Yeah,
Like I told you, like, I'm really not moved. This is one of the largest reasons why, aside from any mental or intangibles that I think Joel sometimes lacks and Paul George definitely lacks, it's the injuries, bro. But if best case scenario, Embiid is healthy by the playoffs, Paul George is healthy by the playoffs, Maxey is healthy by the playoffs. They've played 30 games together. Is that enough to you?
I mean it's the East, so they have a lot of margin for error. But
In the playoffs?
but no. They might depending on who they get. Well, because they'll probably come in as a playing team, right? Most likely, right? So that'll probably be what happens.
Yes.
And then they probably get washed by Boston or Cleveland, honestly, if they got one of those two in the first round.
Who's
So
been playing 70 to 80 games together, who has continuity, who knows there's a trust there. When you Philly, it's like, oh shoot, we in the fire. We ain't been in the fire, but 27 games this year. And out of those 27 games, 7 of them came down to the last play. Like,
mhm.
you know what I'm saying? Like you ain't I don't see how they do it, bro.
Yeah,
I don't see it.
I just think the Paul. Okay, so I think two things. Just I won't say that we saw it ahead of time, but they just happened, and it's just like downward spiral. I mean, like you said, Paul George, the injuries are a concern, but him getting injured in the manner in which he got injured and how it being so serious so early It's like, dang. And then Tyrese got injured, and then Joel just like, I just don't think. I think he needs to lose weight. He needs to
Okay.
lose a lot of weight because that knee injury to me is a result of you just physics. You're 7'2". You got all that weight and you put all that force on your joints. Something, if you're not lucky, then you're gonna get injured. Your knees aren't going to be able to hold up, and they obviously haven't been since he's actually been drafted. Now that I think about it, so he needs to, I think, really take his the care of his body. He needs to get into a playing weight that allows him to be more durable and be able to play more games and be reliable in the playoffs. Because at some point, as much as we like Joel Embiid, Philly's paying you all this money, but you get injured every playoffs. Or has he even made the conference finals?
No, only MVP in history to never make a conference finals.
Okay, yeah, like that's what you're not getting. Like I like Joel Embiid. I don't hate him.
There's
I think
nothing
he's
to dislike. Yeah, it's not.
It's just
It's
facts, bro. Like you're paying $50-60 million for a player, for an MVP caliber player that is just not available. I mean, Kawhi to me is the worst deal in sports, bar none.
wow.
But Joel Embiid, like, I won't say he's getting close to Kawhi, but he's like a couple tiers below that right
Yo,
now.
Joel Embiid's contract, $59 million, $64 million in 27-28, and $69 million in 28-29, where he'll be 34 years old. Right now, this season, he's making $51 million. Next year, he'll be making $55 million. That's how good he is that they still pay him despite everything that's going on. Obviously, the cap is going to jump in like 2 years, so that money may be a little bit easier to move off of. You know what I mean? But and I do think that they're in the future they're probably going to move off of that the how tough it is with the first apron, second apron stuff. I think they're going to move some stuff around
Yeah,
to make it a
they have
little bit
to,
easier. Yeah, it's too
because
difficult right
now
now.
teams can't even
Yeah,
trade with each other. Like
yeah,
it's
you
so
can't even
hard to get
trade. Yeah,
small
exactly.
trades because you can't
Yeah, I
send more
do.
money out than you receive.
If that's just the first apron, that's
Yeah,
just the first
that's
apron.
the first
So
thing.
yeah, exactly. So I think with Philly, man, my thing is this, and I've always felt this way. In very specific instances, can a player miss as many games as Joel Embiid is missing? You come back healthy and think you're just gonna flip a switch and go to the finals. In this Eastern Conference, with Cleveland at the top, with Boston at the top, with Orlando, who's not healthy and is balling
Yeah,
at the top, I don't see Philly beating any of those teams in the series.
not at all.
When the Knicks get Mitchell Robinson back, and if he stays healthy, that's another tough team. At this point, the only team that I see Philly really knocking off is they need to try to get to where Miami is.
Yeah,
But how do you do that? How do you do that when Joel Embiid has played 5 games this year and Paul George has played 12 games this year?
mm-hmm.
Some teams have 12 wins. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the math is not adding up to me. You just have to be through the fire. And Philly repeats this process over and over and over and over again
Every
every
season.
single year. And then they sign bro, I don't hate Paul George. I just don't understand the talk and the dialogue around him. You know what I'm saying? For what he has done on the court. They signed Paul George, who's not reliable. He has never been reliable going back to Indiana. Like, I mean, he was reliable back then. But I'm saying, like, since he's left, he has not been reliable. He has struggled everywhere he's went in the playoffs.
Were
So it's
they
like,
for the Maverick series?
were they
Was he
what?
was he? Did he play all of the Maverick series?
Yes, he played the whole 6 games. Yes. He
Okay.
averaged less points than James Harden on worse efficiency. And people somehow ended up kicking James Harden's back in more than his. He averaged 20 points per game. He averaged 20 points per game on 41% shooting and 37% from three.
Sidebar. I think we have to retire any talk of Paul George ever being better than James Harden. I
I,
think that
I I don't know why that ever was even a
that's never
conversation.
happened again. Cause I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not like a Harden fan, but what Harden is doing with the Clippers deserves respect.
Yeah. Yes, for
In the
sure.
West. And Paul George has never done that ever. I mean, well, actually, you
No.
know what? Maybe once in Indy, maybe once.
Maybe
But
2017. That might have been a year where he was like
2017 was
kind of
probably
carrying.
one time, but
Yeah.
James has done this several times
Yeah.
throughout his career. So I think we retired that talk. So that was my little sorry about.
Yeah. Yeah. Harden needs to play better though. I ain't
I
gonna lie.
know people
His
like
percentages are
Paul more
nasty.
than Harden.
I don't see why.
Yeah,
I don't. I've never understood the conversations. It was Jimmy Butler at one point. It was Paul George at one point. Like
mhm.
I don't understand the conversations. Like when you're looking at basketball, I don't want to go to a Harden tangent. But yeah, I don't know if we have enough time. I guess we could get into it. I mean, shoot, I'm enjoying the conversation. Ain't no games on. I don't care about Monday Night Football. MVP. Now, obviously, I just talked about Jokic. I just talked about the Nuggets regression. And then I showed you the numbers of what Jokic was doing. Man, I don't. Jokic is not going to win because they're just not going to give him a fourth MVP, especially as the 7th seed in the West, 2 games over 500. But if ever there was a year,
Okay, all right. I'll push back only for the simple fact that what Jokic is doing is undeniable. You can't even like not say it, and it's just like he could get a fourth MVP because of all those stats you mentioned about the on-off numbers for every
averaging
game.
a triple double.
Yeah, I think it's going to be hard to ignore. I mean, obviously, the people that the voters would probably look at first are the 2 teams out east, or sorry, Shai, somebody on the Celtics, and probably Donovan Mitchell.
I
Those are
think Shai's going
probably
to win it.
the main 3. But like, I think it's probably good. Like you said, Shai's probably the golden child to win this season.
Yeah.
Even though I technically kind of would be like, I wouldn't be mad if Jokic won fourth. I'm like, look, bro, like he is carrying, like straight up hard carrying in one of the hardest conferences ever. Even though they're the 7th seed, like, and they're a good team, but the rest of his guys just haven't shown up. We know they're good. We've seen it before, but he is the only one showing up. But again, Shai ain't got a good team. Like Shai doesn't, to me, have like a offensively. The numbers might say they are, but to me, the OKC, I feel like offensively, the Cleveland is better.
Well,
Boston
Cleveland is better than Cleveland and Boston statistically are much
are
better
better,
offensively than those
but
teams.
OKC's
Yes.
defense is what levels them out, right? And
Correct.
Shai is such a big part of their offense that it's like it's going to be hard for me to say like, yeah, you got to give this. You might have to give it to Shai because he doesn't have the offensive like firepower that Cleveland and Boston have, but he's doing it. At
Yeah,
least,
the only reason I think, let me look it up. I'm sorry, man. The only reason, oh no, I can't even say that. But Boston is 51. They're getting up 51 threes a game, bro. Like you offensively, they're just gonna be better than everybody because of that one thing. Which is fine. I'm not a crybaby. I'm not gonna whine over it. When you look at Shai, man, 30 points per game, 51% from the field, 33% from 3, 86% from the free throw line. His only knock that you could put on him is he got help. I mean, and Isaiah Hartenstein missed early in the season, and then Chet missed the time now. So you can kind of, you know what I'm saying? But then when you talk about Jokic, go
knock
ahead.
on.
Go ahead.
I feel like you can't like it's who has the best argument, and
Shai is winning.
Shai is winning, and
Shai is winning. And he's never won it. He's never
yeah,
won it. So that's definitely a factor. But bro, looking at Jokic, bro, 56% from the field, which is better than Shai. 51% from 3. 51. He's never shot 40% from 3 in the season. He's shooting 51% from 3, bro. 81% from the line, leading the league in rebounds with 14, 10.2 assists, bro, averaging a triple double,
uh,
carrying his team. No Jamal Murray some nights. No Aaron Gordon some nights. No Michael Porter Jr. some nights. Still carrying, bro.
yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I mean, it's like Shai got so much. I mean, they both got nerves, but man, like Shai got what was his name? Liggins.
Jalen Williams?
I can't
Jalen
remember.
Williams?
Jalen Williams. He got that. What's his that guy? The other 55th
He a
pick.
wing or big?
Nah, it's a wing. He got a shooter. What's the skinny guy?
Isaiah Joe?
Isaiah Joe, and he got a
Cason Wallace?
Casey Wallace.
Alex
I mean,
Caruso?
he just got like bro,
Okay, I was naming them until we found them out.
Caruso. No. There's the other guy.
What? It's another guy I'm missing?
Aaron Wiggins.
Oh, Aaron Wiggins. Oh,
Yeah,
Aaron Wiggins.
yeah,
Okay, yeah.
Aaron Wiggins. Yeah,
You
like
said
bro,
that.
like he got a solid young team, and it's just like like you said, he never won. So I feel like from a narrative standpoint, which matters in MVP voting, it's going to be hard to dethrone Shai.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Jokic got one too, but it's just like he still ain't never won one, and you can't
Yeah.
even say that like. And he's got the record to prove it. So it is what it is, bro.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, when you win 3, it's tough to win that 4th one. You have to be number 1 in the conference. It has to be insurmountable. And as
This is
great
going
as
to be.
Jokic is
We're going to look back, and this is going to be like for Jokic, the
yeah,
2011 LeBron MVP, right? Where
no,
yes, it is because
no, no, no.
LeBron had an argument, but he obviously wasn't going to win that shit because Derrick Rose team number 1, and also he just made a super team.
Boozer missed the 50 games. Noah missed
Yeah.
60 games, and they still had the best record in the East. I don't want to get into that, bro.
LeBron's
I don't want to get into
playing
that
for sure. I think he was an MVP candidate, but it wasn't like
Yes, he was a
it was like
candidate
people were
for
like,
sure.
should he win? But they were like, nah, Jordan with Miami, so they gonna happen. But like Jokic, what Jokic doing is just like, okay, you have to kind of be like, all
You
right,
have to acknowledge. Is there anybody else besides Shai and Jokic that has an argument? Because earlier this year we said Jason Tatum, and then I think now we kind of see like it's not going to be Tatum. Donovan Mitchell.
Mitchell. That's who I was gonna say
Yeah.
because I don't feel like anybody else besides those three is even worthy of it. I mean, so far, like I can't pick anybody else out west besides
Wagner before he got hurt. Wagner
those guys
before
are
he
hurt.
got hurt.
Bonchero.
I would say, I mean, the Grizzlies second in the West. John Morant is playing really good ball, but he missed some time. Luka Doncic obviously got his name in there, but then the Mavericks went 5-1 in his absence. So that's pretty much it. I mean, it's not really that many candidates this year. It's like 2.
Really, to me, it's Jokic and Shai, and like
Yeah,
everybody else.
I think that Donovan and Jason Tatum, I want to congratulate them for winning. But when you're talking about MVP, you're talking about MVP candidates like this, bro. Can we just be honest? Like, they are not those caliber of players. Tatum and Mitchell can score like Shai. I don't know if they can elevate like Shai, like floor raise like Shai, I would say. But Shai got a lot of fucking talent, so I don't want to seem like Shai just out there carrying people on his back like who are nobodies. Shai got lottery pick after lottery pick after lottery pick after lottery pick after lottery pick on that team. Just because we don't respect them as such doesn't mean that they aren't. And they still got picked. So yeah, so and they signed Isaiah Harden signed for $30 million to come off the bench. Like, you know what I'm saying? So they got talent. But nobody is Jokic. Nobody is playing like Jokic this year.
I think this goes back to our conversation about engines, right? Like nobody on the Celtics to me, or even Cleveland, is an engine that is just floor raising the team so high. Like they're good players, they're great players. They're playing with other very good players, but they're just not. They're all a collective unit. They're a result of a collective, right?
Yeah.
Through committee. Jokic and Shai are just everything. If they go wrong, the whole team collapses. Like it's just,
for sure.
So
yeah, man. So I guess the MVP comes down to two people, y'all. Y'all heard it here first. Quinn, episode 31 is in the books, man. Thank you for coming on, man. As always, I want to try to get this in. Hold on. Yeah, let's get the facts
going. For the cash out.
Wait, hold on. Wait. Let's get the cash app. Wait, hold on.
No, I said no. Any cash app. I'm trying to help you out.
I'm about to say, what about Cash App? Hold on. What are we talking about now? You talking about money?
You put your cash app. I'm good.
Hey, I'm going to abuse this laugh track, bro. I'm going to abuse it. But, all right, man, y'all. Episode 31 is in the books. RedNationBlogga out.